We're streaming over here. All right, here we are. Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, it's early, and I hope you're having a great morning so far. Salud. A little bit of coffee. So I'm sure everybody's probably having some coffee or tea right now. One of the best ways to start the day off. Actually, matcha. I love matcha. Matcha lattes are my favorite. I make them with a oat milk instead of regular milk. I don't use regular milk, so they're outstanding. They get you all revved up, and it's better than a caffeine energy. Actually, it's pretty interesting. So hey, good morning, Sherry. So I thought I'd wear my Hawaiian shirt today because we're here to talk about positive news, positivity in general. You know, people are very stressed right now, and I think the best thing is to try to remain positive. And today we have a couple really inspirational stories from around the world that will show that we are moving in the right direction. Let's see. And Sherry says, hemp coffee. Oh, Sherry, that sounds really good. I've never had that. Got me excited. Now I'm going to go out and check it out today. Now, the reason I don't know, some of you might know me, know that I love Hawaiian shirts. I absolutely love them. As a matter of fact, the last film that I did, Livicated, if you go to the website, there's actually a lot of shots of me always wearing a different Hawaiian shirt, in the midst of everything. So, hey, Coralie, good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful morning so far. Going to have a coffee for you. So, the trick is, if you ever know anybody else that loves Hawaiian shirts, like I do, there's a trick to buying them. The trick is, a real Hawaiian shirt does not have a top button. I don't know if you can see this right here, but there's no top button. So you're never able to do this with a true Hawaiian shirt. And the reason is there's a philosophy behind the clothing. The philosophy is that it's never uptight. They don't do that top button. So it's the shirt has the inability to be uptight. So it's about feeling loose and free and happy. And yeah, so personally, like I have a hard time with ties and suits and things like that. Anyway, I thought, yes, let's wear the Hawaiian shirt today. Let's get some positivity out there. So what I really wanted to do today, there's some really incredible stories out there right now. Let's see. One of the first that I think is super cool is Germany has announced it's going to leave single-use plastic by 2021. So I think that's pretty amazing, huh? Now whether they can pull it off is a whole other story, but there's so much plastic and we see it everywhere. We do plastic cleanups. We're always focused on this plastic. And I think that if they're able to pull this off, I think it would just be incredible, because they would be the leading country in an innovative way for a greener tomorrow. And we all remember that if a greener tomorrow means a bluer tomorrow as well, because the two are interconnected. So the health of the land and the health of the ocean are one and the same. And actually, they are all integrated with the health of us. I think that's one of the more important parts, is the health of us. We have to remember that all three are super connected. And just like all of us are going through the frustrations through COVID is actually transforming things into a positive future. So let me put this on. What I want to do is talk a little bit about some of those other options and good things that we see coming out of COVID. Because once again, look, there's enough negative stories to make anybody want to go live like a hermit. We're not, it's not exactly the best time. Oh, and by the way, I'm still banned from Facebook. I'm wondering if anybody else has had this experience where you get banned, but they don't tell you why, and they don't tell you for how long. Just curious. I'm in day 4 now. I know a lot of friends get like 30-day suspensions and stuff, but they always know why. I don't I don't know why. I can't know why. Anyway, Facebook is usually never good news as it would be imagined. But so more good news. Now this is cool. Okay, so with solar power, there's always been this idea and this complaint of, well, how do we store solar power, right? How do we do this? So scientists have been working on a new thing where actually they're finding that bricks can conduct and store solar power. Now, it's give and take. I mean, the system that they use for this is to create polymers that will go in between all the pores of the brick. And these polymers can be supercharged, and hold these solar power charges. So there we go. I don't want to have you guys facing a wall like that anymore. But bricks could actually be storehouses. So it's incredible if you think about the fact that if you have solar power, your house is built mostly out of brick, which is not a very destructive type of material. Bricks have been around a long time. I mean, you can still go to a lot of places that are built out of bricks that haven't changed. So I think it's really cool. They're very innovative. That's always been the biggest complaint about solar is how do you store it when there is no sun or when it's nighttime? How do you ensure that everybody has enough electricity? And that is an amazing answer so far. So there they are. They're looking at bricks right now. I think it's pretty cool. Sherry, yes, you know it. Most definitely. Yeah, I will definitely have a coffee to that. Okay, so let's see now. So the bricks, yeah, it's incredible. So that's going to change things massively. If we have the ability to store our solar power through the electric just in our homes, it'll be a self-contained unit. Now, of course, the energy people are not happy about that. I mean, they make tons of money keeping everybody on the grid. But does the grid really work? I mean, it was an amazing first try at it, in the early 1900s, all the way up to the 1950s. But we tried one system. Did it really work? Is it really that smart of an idea to continue to, pay for electric through a third party that gives, at least here in California, it's outrageous rates, especially if it's hot. And I just think it's, one of the keys is we're all moving towards self-sustainability, and we're all moving towards having our own ways of doing things, and that's growing your own food, and that's, having solar power. And people are looking forward to that, and especially a lot of the younger generation is pushing forward that way, which I think is very exciting. Sherry, I see you said no, but I'm not quite sure what that was in reference to. Anyway, now the next part is I wanted to talk about right now in the US, and we're going to talk about also the UK. We talked about Germany. It's kind of cool because the whole world is facing the same problem, which is our fossil fuels are running out and they're limited. So now we're at a time period in our history where either fossil fuel prices are going to skyrocket because we don't have enough, and it's like Mad Max, not everybody has enough to go around, or we're going to try new methods. So one thing that's happening in the US right now is they're trying to roll back, it's bad enough they already rolled back the Clean Water Act, but they're trying to roll back the National Environment Policy Act. And if you're like me, you've probably never heard of this, but it was actually signed into law by Nixon back in the 50s. And wait, is that right? I'm not quite sure of the date. So anyway, what we've got here is the National Environment Policy Act, and they're trying to gut it, and they're trying to remove it. Now, the beauty of this process is that it takes into account social impacts, tribal consultation, environmental impacts, economic impacts, and it allows for public input. So they're trying to delete that. So while they're trying to delete that, the reason they're doing it is right now, NEPA is the thing that allows for lower income communities, tribal communities, and other communities that have concern about environmental policy to be able to speak to everybody. Now, they're trying, like I said, they are trying to remove that. But again, this is all about positive eco news. I'd never even heard of NEPA, and now people are fighting for it. And the best thing is that when NEPA We need that, obviously. I mean, we look at what's been happening over the last few years with our natural resources worldwide. We really do need to maintain, and we are in a critical period where we need to bring everybody back into the folds of the conversation. So NEPA is an amazing way. And what foresight, when you talk about Nixon, we only ever hear about Watergate, but he was actually very into the environment. So it's really interesting, and again, it goes to, that there's never going to be a one party solution for cleaning up the earth because it's two-party problem, and what I think is great is that, you've got these leaders that have been Democrats, you've got these leaders that have been Republicans, and they have all focused on fixing the environment. They know that there's a problem there, and they've all tried to use their powers to do good. Anyway, they're trying to repeal that right now, but the good thing is a bunch of environmental groups are stepping up and they are suing them. So keep your eyes on the news, and we'll see what happens with NEPA. But the good news is we're not just letting it being removed like we did the Clean Water Act. That just got ripped out. This one will have to face a bunch of scrutiny, and this one has a lot going for it, and hopefully we can keep that preserved. Hey, bună ziua, Elena. Hello hello in Romania, and hey, hello, my friend in Cambodia. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for being on today. Hey, Camilla. Good morning. Hope everybody is enjoying a coffee or a tea, or if you are over in Cambodia or Romania, possibly a glass of wine or a beer right about now. They're about 10 plus hours ahead of where we are here. So thank you, everybody, for joining. It's awesome to see international, worldwide attention being paid to this. Yes, Camilla said the shirt. Yes, Camilla. I was saying, today I wanted to wear my Hawaiian shirt because I love my Hawaiian shirts. And if I wear my Hawaiian shirt out, people smile, they laugh. Generally, they think I'm on vacation, but that's okay because vacation is just not a physical thing. Vacation is a mental thing too. And with COVID being so stressful, I'm just hoping the shirt brings a little bit of joy to everybody because we need to take a mental vacation from all the stress. And we gotta, there's something actually very positive happening. I've been reading about the fact that they're saying that the only way out of COVID is a greener economy. And I know it sounds a little weird at first, but remember, Deutsche Bank is removing all of their interest in oil production in the Arctic. So that's a first step. It's all going there. And actually, the UK is leading another branch of it where the UK has decided they have a retirement thing, and it is called, let me see where I can bring this back here. What am I looking for? Okay, UK leaves the oil. So the UK's biggest pension fund, which is a government-backed, it's called the National Employment Savings Trust, NEST. So there's around 9 million members, and it has begun divesting from fossil fuels in what climate campaigners have hailed as a landmark move for the industry, and it's very true. You've got Deutsche Bank leaving. You've got the UK retirement fund moving all of its money away. It's shifting about $5.5 billion into climate-aware investments, and it anticipates a green economic recovery from coronavirus. So it's interesting, regardless of what we all think, when you look at major corporations starting to zig instead of zag like they have for the last 50 years, you can get an idea as well from them of what's happening on our level. So I think it's fantastic. The National Retirement Fund is going to walk away from oil investments. Deutsche Bank is walking away from oil investments. A lot of companies are walking away from oil investments. The future really is green. The future, we're coming out of this and nobody wants to lose more money, be stuck at home, see everybody around them get sick, have loved ones die. I personally know people that have been through this virus and they don't come out the same. They have scarred lungs forever and other massive tissue problems forever. So, a lot of that comes to how our environment is, and it's made us more sensitive to thinking about all the stuff around us. So through all this negativity is a massive positivity that we are coming out of it in a greener perspective. Now the businesses can start to fill in those greener perspective business holes that we need in our world. And nature, it's almost like we're a lot of places where we'll go and there's poachers or illegal fishermen, and you try to talk to them and say, look, you can actually make more money through ecotourism and through being green. And there's actually a lot of proof of that right now. If you're exploiting nature for a few people, you're going to make them billions of dollars and everyone else is going to starve. If you are preserving nature and for other people, then everybody is going to be uplifted and everybody will win and nature gets protected. That's the thing, is right now the way things are done, nature's not protected, nature is exploited. And while ExxonMobil has $900 billion at their disposal, and a bunch of us are sitting around at our homes barely making it through each day, it's hard for us to fight back, but we are. And you know what? Our voice is making a difference because, again, Deutsche Bank is leaving oil investments in the Arctic. A bunch of investors are leaving pipelines. This is an old way of thinking. Take this fossil fuel and run this physical goo to this place. And it's just a series of people making tons of money off the process, which is why it hasn't been changed yet. I mean, look at plastic. Plastic is so unnecessary because we had the world's most perfect thing before plastic. We had glass. And glass is 100% recyclable. And it's 100% safe for the economy. And it's 100% safe for the environment. Glass. It's recyclable. It's, you can melt it down, put it back into new things. It's fantastic. So I always say, let's leave the plastic for the medical professionals and people that need it for home care and things like that. And, it does not need to be in our soda bottles. So, all right. Good night, my friends. Take care. Tell everybody I said hi in Cambodia, by the way. I've been thinking about you all a lot recently. And, Cambodia, the guy that's on there, he's very modest, but he has devoted his life to fighting trawlers and to protecting seahorses in Cambodia. And he is fearless. I will tell you, we had some events together where we were trying to persuade trawlers to not come into this marine protected area. And the guy, his passion, his heart, and his soul is into it 100%. And when you meet people like that, it makes you better as a person, That's what I love about conservation, is I'm continuously exposed to the most incredible minds and hearts and souls in the world. I mean, it brings out the cream of the crop. It really does. It's a beautiful area to work in. I can't call it an industry because not a lot of us really do it for a living or make money with it. We do it for a living. We just don't make money. So, but that's not the point of it anyway. But anyway, as I was saying, there's actually been economic factors proving what I'm talking about, that we're going to go green. So I wanted to tell you guys about this. I read this today and I thought this was pretty amazing. Recently they had a Economic World Forum, and they were discussing how the future of money is green. And they say that building back greener could create millions of jobs and trillions in economic opportunity. And again, that's the World Economic Forum. That was in London, July 15th. Recent decades, Costa Rica has doubled its forest cover while tripling the size of its economy. Think about that. As an example of how better protecting nature can create jobs rather than curb them. And the Central American country environment minister said on Wednesday, and that is super impressive. So, Costa Rica, it's a blue zone, and if you're not familiar with blue zones, check them out. They're places where people live longer because they are living more organically. And it's a big difference. The lifespan of somebody in a blue zone versus the lifespan of somebody in a majorly polluted city there's a big gap there, actually. So the good news is, again, this is something we've all been talking about for a long time. We all know this. This is obvious for us. But the money people and the leaders are starting to click into it. So, again, the World Economic Forum is talking about the fact that we can go greener. And just always remember, that's incredible. Costa Rica doubled the forest cover and tripled the size of their economy just by knowing that their economy, people love nature and they want to come see it. And I think it's super cool. They're doing the opposite of many other countries that are just exploiting all of their resources for the 5 or 6 people at the top that make money. So I hope that that also boosts the entire economy of Costa Rica. I do have friends working down there, and I think that a lot of them are finding more opportunities now. So it's fantastic. And see, going green is good. You know, it's even like the animals, that they kill. I mean, there could be a lot more going. More money is made from sanctuaries than zoos on an average, and I think that's a great turning point and indicator of where we're headed. And the thing is, there's already been this innovation, and I don't know if you guys are aware of what's called a B Corp, but there's already an innovation of the B Corp in America, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday. But the B Corp basically says we're going to make sure that we don't hurt the environment or the community around us. Excuse me. So they take on a very strong code of ethics. So, excuse me, when it comes to B Corps, and B Corps know that doing things are better, and I bring this example up all the time, Patagonia. Now, Patagonia, it's a touchy thing. For example, Patagonia buys wetsuits. Now, some of their wetsuit material might come from Denka, and Denka is one of the major polluters in the Mississippi. They're creating tons of air pollution, water pollution, and again, if you're not familiar, Cancer Alley, Louisiana, that has a 600 times the national cancer average rate. It's crazy. But Denka's there. So anyway, what Patagonia says is, look, we understand that not everything can be 100% green. Don't buy our clothes. Just bring your clothes in, and we will sew them for you. We will fix them for you. Just bring them in. And they do. And it's an amazing push. And that's sort of the mentality of the B Corp. I was reading that businesses that add value to nature instead of degrading it could top over $10 trillion opportunity, which could create around 400 million jobs by 2030. So the World Economic Forum sees a lot of positivity in this changeover. And we've all been fighting for it so much, in our hearts, in our minds, sometimes out in the field. But all of us have been wanting to see this. This is the moment we've been waiting for. There couldn't be better news. Now, the World Economic Forum, their first report was published in January. And they concluded that business depends on nature and its services to the extent of 44 trillion of economic value generation. That's over half the world's GDP. So businesses that depend on nature are over half of the world's GDP. That's how important nature is. And unfortunately, that's how important exploitation of nature is to some of them, but it's also how important nature can be to the rest of us and the world if we start moving in the right direction. And we have the best opportunity right now, because obviously things can't be as they were. They got to move forward, and we got to make a change if we ever plan to keep things going with our, keep ourselves in loop with nature. I think that's pretty incredible. Now, scientists have warned that nature is declining at an unprecedented rate, with nearly 1 million species facing extinction due to human activity. Now, I know that sounds like bad news, and it is. But this is all about positivity. This is why we're having coffee together. Remember that the World Economic Forum and a lot of countries are now starting to look and say, okay, how can we be more green? How can we use nature to preserve what we have? Like I said, when you talk to the poachers and you say, look, you can make more money by showing them a live pink dolphin than you can by killing the pink dolphins, catching catfish, and then sending the catfish to another country, thereby exterminating the pink dolphins. Don't exterminate them. We have an ability to stop these extinctions. So we can do it. And the beauty is, like I said, we've always been yelling this, but now the businesses and the companies are listening. And every time I find proof that they are listening to what we have to say, I get very excited, and I know that we can keep pushing and we can keep getting for a better tomorrow, because we are making changes. And there are small changes, but each of those changes has a profound impact. We really are all stones in the pond, and whatever we do has ripples that actually don't diminish. Those ripples go all the way to the shore. So everything we can do, whether it's revolution through routine, like we talked about on the previous podcast, where you're changing the world by not leaving your house, you're just changing the way you shop, all the way down to being in the field and physically stopping poachers. Every single person is part of this massive push for change, and the World Economic Forum, for them to recognize that green world means green cash for everybody, is a huge step forward. And there really is a lot more money to be made. One of the criticisms we always face when we were overseas is, well, who are you to come and talk about destroying your environments? Who are you to come in and try to tell our fishermen they can't fish there? We get that a lot. And, it's kind of interesting because my answer always was, look, we already did it once. We are the people to talk about it. We destroyed the bison. We have made so many different types of fish extinct in our lifetime, in our short span of history here in this country. But most importantly is, unless somebody stops this destruction of MPAs, the fishermen aren't going to have jobs in 100 years. I mean, they're going to be like the guys that made swords back in the medieval days, They'll have to take that skill and put it somewhere else. Those people ended up becoming blacksmiths and farriers and spent more time working on horses with metal as opposed to building, being the ultimate, sword maker in the 1400s. So the jobs do change. I mean, and I think that when it comes to fishermen, a lot of times people would like to think of the guy that's got a boat that's sitting on the back of the boat. But, I mean, we're talking about 60 million pounds of fish being stolen from marine protected areas on a nightly encounter. And that's just one of the MPAs that we were defending. And there's so many MPAs out there. The 60 million pounds we found in the Philippines. But we are fighting for the survival and the preservation of the people, of nature, and of the environment. The only thing that we're not concerned with is the survival of the corporation, but the corporation, that's all it is concerned with. So let it do its job. There's supposed to be this thing where companies that are bad fall to the wayside. I don't see that ever happening as we see all these various bailouts and things like that. I think we know that it's a fantasy that the businesses that are good stay and the bad ones get weaned off over time. So it is up to us to stay on them. If you can, buy more from B Corps and just support the whole B Corp movement. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful movement. And it's hard because, look, I mean, in animal agriculture, capitalism is the reason for a lot of these problems that we face as environmentalists and conservationists. So the question is, how do we turn the capitalism to work with us and work for us? And that's what we saw today. We saw the World Economic Forum found a way. The UK found a way. Germany found a way. United States is finding a way. They're trying to preserve what we have. And we do have some of the most amazing country left that hasn't been exploited. So I hope they're able to win. But anyway, it's really great news. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. And I hope everybody is enjoying and having a nice coffee, a nice wake up this morning. And we will be back. Okay, so I'll be back on Saturday morning. I know I've been a little inconsistent. I'm going to start doing the podcast every Saturday morning. So I will see everybody at 10 a.m. Pacific time or 1 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. And I can't wait. And if you guys like this, I've been getting a lot of great feedback from this. Just to bring up a couple positive news stories every day. I'm going to try to start doing this every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Just so we have a couple days of positive eco stories that we can add in to this, very stressful time. Because, these are bits of hope. These are, like Sylvia Earle calls them, hope spots. These are the hope spots of change. And it's exciting to see. So I hope everybody is wearing a Hawaiian shirt in their mind and on vacation, having a smile, be positive. Remember, our health, our environment's health, and the world around us health are all tied in together, as is our physical and mental health. So the healthier our world is, the healthier our mental and physical being will be, and the healthier our mental and physical being is, the stronger the world is around us, the more we will fight to save it. So take some time for yourself. Remember that you're important. And please don't be too stressed out in this time. My friends out there, if you need to talk to somebody, hit me up. You can contact me through the website. A lot of you already have my number. You can also, I'd say hit me up on Facebook, but I can't respond yet. I'm still banned. But, you're not alone, and don't feel isolated, and don't feel overwhelmed, and don't feel negative. Hey, Dirk, good morning, man. Awesome to see you on here. Don't feel that. Remember, the world burned itself out on negativity, and these corporations are falling by the wayside. Like I said, when you got Deutsche Bank, and you've got the UK pension funds, and you've got all these other companies divesting away from fossil fuels, and fossil fuels, that just goes to show that these companies don't even think they'll be using fossil fuels in 40 years. So, alternatives are taking over. It's fantastic. We have to fight to keep the National Environmental Policy Act alive. If you are so inclined, write to your congressman, tell them that you do not want this repealed. You do not want this repealed. It's under attack. It was repealed, and now they are fighting to keep it alive and to keep it there. It is one of the last few things that allow more, communities that face more economic challenge to have a say in what sort of pollution is built there. And one thing I have seen around the world is that companies move in to poorer neighborhoods and exploit that. And it's terrible because they're just saying that the life of poorer people doesn't matter, and they get them sicker. And it's very disgusting. And not only is it disgusting, but it is somewhat normalized by industry, media, and sadly, consumer. Just as we are the cancer, we are the cure. So, we're the only ones that can stop it. It is our world. It's just a bunch of people, people like us. So, we got to remember that we have to fight back, and we have to fight back in a new way. And like I said, showing people that you can make more on a live animal that's unique than you can on a dead animal that you exploit and sell at a market, for a quick buck. That is the difference, But again, it's all tied to poverty. I mean, look, I went out with these guys that were crabbing, and we spent overnight with them on their crabbing boats. They're going to go home. They're going to make maybe $3-5 a day, maybe $20 for insane amount of 12 hours of work. But at the same time, they're killing stuff inside of a seahorse sanctuary. So just imagine the seahorse sanctuary generates tons of money. It has visitors from around the world. And those people are willing to come in and pay a little bit more to go swim with seahorses than the $15 they get when they kill the seahorse and dry it out for Chinese medicine for sale. But I can't blame these fishermen because they're surviving. We need to fix things on a bigger level. Business as usual is just not going to work anymore. So the good news is we have a greener future. We have a nice move forward. It's being recognized by financial institutions. It's being recognized by all the people out there. It's being recognized by people that are sick of seeing their families get sick. And, for me, as somebody that's battling a chronic illness, it's hope in the right direction. That maybe we can stop kids from getting sick in the next generation. We can't stop all the sickness, but if we can stop a sickness directly, like stopping using lead in paint or stop putting DDT in cereal and things like that, then I think it is our obligation to do that. So anyway, I hope these stories today gave you guys some inspiration, some positivity, and man, I just wanted to say everybody have a wonderful day. It is Wednesday, and it's halfway through the week. Everybody is almost there. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Remember, it's our world. Let's talk about it. And I will see everybody Saturday morning.